Yo, what's good, everybody? I'm rhickey28. Welcome to the YouTube channel. I wanted to get out a quick video so that we could determine what we think the stats are gonna be for the George Brett card and what the requirements will be to complete the collection. It's gonna be really hard for everybody to get it done in the first week, especially if you are not prepared. The first collection of the year is always the hardest one to get done. So if you don't have them done right away, don't worry about it. It's really only for a small percentage of people. Just to kind of prepare, you might want to buy some of those cheaper flashback and legend cards on the market right now. But first of all, let's talk about this George Brett real quick. The card art is amazing. They're bringing in legend and flashback finest cards. That is so significant for the game because we know that SDS loves to beef up finest cards. So this is not going to just be your ordinary George Brett card. First of all, as a collection reward, it is going to last almost the whole game cycle, to be honest. The collections are always some of the best cards the game ever puts out. I know some people were upset because it was George Brett as the announcement, and I kind of feel that because my initial reaction was, wow, George Brett just doesn't seem like a big enough card for a collection reward. But the more I got to thinking about it, the more I realized that this is gonna be a filthy card. Like I said, SDS loves beefing up their finest cards. So this is George Brett's MVP card from last year's game. As you can see, his power numbers are not the most exciting, but he's got a ton of contact. In 1980, which is also the same year as the finest card, he hit for a 390 batting average, which is one of the highest in the modern era, if not the highest. His fielding stats are amazing. However, with the finest cards, I can really see them bumping up that defense. He's got 84 fielding on this card. I can easily see them giving him 90 or at least an 85 fielding. I know it doesn't sound like too much of a bump from 84. However, if you have him at 85 and then you superfractor him, that's going to be 90 fielding. That is pretty significant. His speed is at 69 on this card. I could see that getting a little bit of a bump. However, the big thing that we all want to know about is the hitting stats. Is this just going to be a left-handed version of Clemente who can play the infield? I have to believe that they're actually going to increase his stats a little bit from the MVP card. I'm guessing we get a good 112, 113 contact versus left. He's already gonna have maxed out contact versus right. We see that on this card. The power stats are what I'm really interested in. Sure, contact is great, especially when you're on Hall of Fame or Legend, of course. If you don't have the power to back that up, I feel like it's a missed opportunity. So I'm guessing that maybe SDS bumps his power versus right up to like 105-ish. I could see that very easily. And then maybe his power versus left hits that 90 mark. And now George Brett becomes a much more significant card. I know tons of people love his swing. They already say he hits above his power numbers. So if we give that a little bit more of a boost, George Brett might end up being the best hitter in the game at this particular moment. A fun little fact about George Brett, we see it here. He's a primary third baseman. He's got first base secondary. We know no matter what, his card is going to have that. However, he did play 280 innings in the outfield. So he might get left field, right field secondaries, which would really make this a much more valuable card. And He played 39 innings at shortstop in his career. It's unlikely that they give him shortstop secondary, but with the finest cards, SDS kind of likes to play around with things. It's possible that George Brett has shortstop secondary, and if he does, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that would be my starting shortstop for a long time. The big question on everybody's mind is what's gonna be required to complete this collection? Well, I'm gonna be here to give you my predictions on what I believe is gonna be required to get George Brett right off the bat. The first thing to talk about is how many different versions of Legend and Flashback cards there are. Right now in the game, there's 16 versions of those types of cards. However, we know that Future Stars is coming tomorrow. So that's going to be one of the collections that they're going to require you to get. And you're only probably going to be able to skip one, maybe if we're lucky, 2 versions of these cards to collect George Brett. So if it's only one, most people are going to have to skip Future Stars. It's going to be really hard to get enough of them. They're going to be incredibly expensive, especially right off the bat. With live series collections done, it makes this a whole lot easier. So if you don't have that done, I would suggest work towards the live series collection, get Randy Johnson first, and as you go along, get some of the cheaper cards. For George Brett, definitely you're gonna need at least the Babe Ruth card if you want to get the Okazaki voucher. Same with Joe Mauer. You're gonna need all the cover athlete cards. You're gonna have to have the Joe Mauer collection done. Mauer himself will be a voucher for George Brett. Milestone cards. Right now there's only 4 of them. However, we do know the new Always Intense pack is coming out tomorrow. They announced that on Twitter. And in that pack, in the base round, there's at least 2 milestone cards. So what I can see them doing, if they want to throw us a curveball, is asking us for 5 of them. Prior to that announcement, I thought it would only take 3 milestone cards. So we're going to have to see what happens tomorrow, but I'm leaning towards 5 milestone cards for George Brett. For SIG series, there were no cards announced in the base round of the Always Intense pack, so there could be some in the rare round. However, I think with 6 in the game, maybe they add an extra one in the Always Intense rare round. I think it's safe to say that we're gonna need probably 5 of these cards in order to get Brett. Right now, there's 9 award series cards in the game. There was 1 award series card announced in the base pack of the Always Intense, so we know that's going to be at least 10 awards cards by tomorrow. I think and I hope that it's only going to require 8 of these. I can also see them turn it around and asking for 10. Let's just hope that that's not the case, and let's hope that 8 is good enough for the award series. For prime cards, there's 11 in the game right now. They're adding at least 1 more tomorrow. I believe that this is honestly going to take at least 10 cards to get the prime collection done. Face of the franchise is kind of hotly debated in the community right now. They asked you for 12 to get the Ballin' Is a Habit pack. That meant literally nothing. There's 30 of these Face of the Franchise cards in the game. It's gonna require at least 18, probably 20, but there is an outside chance that they ask for 24 to 25. So that one's gonna be a little difficult. However, those cards are pretty cheap on the market right now, so you should be able to get some extra ones if you don't have them. Right now, I personally have 20. I'm hoping maybe by the end of the day, I'll try and get 24 just in case, because even if you have some extra cards, you could turn around and sell them on the market tomorrow when the collection drops. Their prices should rise a little bit. Prospect cards are another kind of hotly debated topic. Most people believe it's only going to take 30 cards. However, there are 43 currently in the game. I can see them coming in, throwing a little bit of a curveball, saying you need 35, maybe you even need 40. I think 40 is a little excessive on the prospect cards, but I can see them doing 35. They want to do a little higher than the gold because the gold cards were given out so much early on in the game. One thing's for sure, I don't think Adley will be a voucher like Joe Mauer or Babe Ruth. Monthly awards is another interesting one. So in the April program, if you include Andre Dawson, they gave us 11 cards in the April monthly awards. They didn't officially announce it, but I have a feeling that tomorrow is going to be the May Player of the Month. If that's the case, I believe that they're going to require about 20 of them. Right now, there's 34 Topps Now cards. There's some extra ones that you get from events like Trevor Story, Madison Bumgarner. There's some BR cards. I'm not really sure that they're going to require any of the BR cards or anything like that. They might turn around and say you need to get 35 of these because we know more Topps Now moments are coming tomorrow. However, I honestly believe that you're just going to need the regular Topps Now cards. You're not going to need the BR cards, and you're not going to need those extra 2 event rewards. Second half heroes is going to be one of those under the radar, hard to get collections done. There's 23 second half cards in the game. If they ask for 20, people are going to really have a rough time. If they ask for 15, then you'll still be able to get it done, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle if you don't have those cards. I like to be on the safer, more conservative side when it comes to these things, so I think 20 is actually the number that they're going to ask for. So it's going to be one of the harder ones to get done. Rookie cards, there's about 34 of them right now. This is one of those gimme collection rewards. If you have the live series collection done, you got a bunch of rookie cards. If you did like the conquest maps, and you're gonna have most of these cards, they're probably gonna require about 25 of them. 25 out of the 34 I think is fair. It's possible they ask for 30, but honestly, rookie is always one of the easiest collections to have done, so you shouldn't really worry too much about that. Breakout cards, there's 39 of them. They're gonna ask for probably about 30 breakout cards. You got some pretty expensive ones in Kershaw, Miller, Yelich. Those are the guys that you're probably not going to want to go and find and collect and get. You're going to want to get all the other breakout cards that are kind of easy to get. All-star cards, there's 61 of them in the game right now. I know what you're saying. Wow, that is a lot. However, all-star cards are some of the easiest to acquire cards in the game. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Might they ask for 50? Yes, it's a possibility. I see them asking more for 40, and I think most people are going to have 40 done, especially if you've been going through all the featured programs and you got collections done. There's a ton of no-sell all-star cards that you get right away, so collecting them should be reasonably easy. As you can see, I've got a ton of them. I'm missing some, but it doesn't really matter. If you got through all your programs and things like that, I have over 40 right here, so I'll be covered for All-Star. The event rewards, the rewind packs are really cheap right now. You can keep going through events and getting those rewind packs. A lot of them are All-Stars. Veteran cards, there's 29 of them. Another really easy collection to get done, especially, like I said, if you have live series collections done. With 29 in the game, they're probably going to require 20 to 25. I'm leaning more towards the 20 side because they're going to want to bump it up a little bit later on. And there's not a lot of veterans that they're going to be adding into the game now that they're putting out more awards cards and prime cards and things like that. Postseason cards are going to be a real interesting one. There's only 9 postseason cards in the game right now. I'm expecting them to require about 8 of them, to be honest. It's possible that it's going to be 5. If it is 5, it's going to be a lot easier to acquire. However, I kind of expect 8 here. With 8 in mind right now, I would go out, I would go grab a David Price. He's going for quick sell value on the sell now. Make sure you have your Roy Halladay from the featured program, because the postseason cards might end up being one of those rare ones that are just really hard to get. And of course, the last collection that we really don't have any cards from, except for yesterday's headliner pack, is the Future Stars collection. I would say about 15 is a fair assessment of that, maybe even 20. There's gonna be 30 new future stars added to the game tomorrow. That's why I think that's gonna be the most skippable collection out of all of these. If this video helped you, please give a thumbs up to the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Give me your comments. Do you think that my estimates are incorrect? Do you think George Brett is going to be the best card in the game? Because I kind of am leaning towards him being the best hitter right now. I'll leave my Twitch link in the description below. We're gonna be on tomorrow night. There's a whole bunch of content. It's gonna be a really fun weekend. I'll be on all weekend. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.